Right, hello lads and lasses, welcome back to Boys Down Under, where today it could be my last ever Celtic preview of a Europa Conference League match for this season and potentially maybe for next season as well. Maybe not, but let's find out. So before we go any further, please remember to like the video and consider subscribing to the channel because it's the best way to help support me and help support the channel grow. If you guys are enjoying the videos, there's no better indicator than if you click that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's get into it. So Celtic have the extremely difficult task ahead of them of overcoming a 2-goal deficit in Norway, and the stakes could not be more against us. But look, it's a mountain to climb, and it's going to be very hard. It's going to be a mountain to climb without any mountain climbing training. But let's look at both teams' forms. So in Celtic's last 5 games in all competitions, we have 4 wins from 5 matches. The only blemish being, the loss last week to Bodo at home. Our most recent game, however, was a 3-2 win over Dundee, in which Georgios Giakoumakis sent the crowd absolutely wild and has set the whole fan base across the world wild for that matter as well. As for Bodo, their season is still yet to begin. Pretty shitty. Thinking about it, that their only professional game or competitive game this season has been against Celtic, which they won in their pre-season. Yeah, so that sounds great in talking about the quality of Scottish football, but regardless, Bodo 1 from 1 this year. Fair play to them. They're undefeated. They've got a 100% win record. Fair play to Bodo. But regardless, they will be missing a player in this match, Nikita Kaiken, who is suspended after accumulating too many yellow cards during the competition. He has to serve a 1-match suspension. As for the Celts, unavailable for us will be Kyogo, David Turnbull, Johnny Kenny, Albion Yeti, and Yasuki, who isn't included in the Europa League team squad. Karamoko expected that he will pop up on the bench, however, and that would be a very positive sight, especially if he got some minutes. But that leads us into our starting lineup prediction. And I'll be honest, we do need to change at least 2 or 3 things from our lineup last week, because the lineup last week did not work at all. There were too many weak flaws. The team overall performed pretty terribly. However, there were a lot of weak flaws in the squad and things that need to be addressed if we want any chance of going through to the next round. But look, as for me, this is what I think the lineup should be and what I think the lineup potentially will be. So, I have got Joe Hart in goals. Then at right back, it is Tony Ralston. Cameron Carter-Vickers and Carl Starfelt round out the 2 centre-backs. Look, I think Welsh needs to come in to that spot though, or Julian for that matter. I don't think Starfelt is really... I don't know. Starfelt not cutting it for me. Can't lie. It's been 6 months since 7 months since he's arrived. He just still isn't, that dominant centre back that Cameron Carter-Vickers is. We need someone with height, and Julian is that man, or Welsh for that matter, who doesn't know how to challenge a high ball. Then at left back, I've got Josip Juranovic. Definitely don't think anyone can argue that we should be starting Greg Taylor or Liam Scales. Even though Liam Scales has shown a lot of promise recently, I still don't think this is the match we should be throwing him into the deep in. I think it has to be Juranovic at left back with Ralston complementing him at right back. Then into the midfield trio, Callum at CDM. Of course, it's Callum McGregor. Wasn't going to be anyone else. Then as the box-to-box midfielder, I've got Rio Atate coming back into the team after not being included in the last Europa League starting 11. He had to play last game. It baffled me that he didn't. I was completely shocked. I didn't see it working out without Rio there, and obviously it didn't. So that's a shame, but we need to start him, and I think Ange's got that pretty down pat in his mind. Then as the cam, I'm going with the new soon-to-be Danish international Matt O'Reilly. The best player out there for Celtic last time against Bodo in my eyes. Has to play again. Can't be anyone but, look, I think he has to play again merely on the fact that Rogic, I think, needs a game off. I think he needs to just, take a back seat on this one, come back stronger for our next league match. And that's my opinion on it. I think O'Reilly, though, does get the nod here. Then into the front 3, Jota on the left wing. Was it going to be anyone bar Jota? Then we've got the Greek god up top, George Giacomakis, double GG. Then on the right wing, I'm going with Bodo. Look, it has to be that front three without any doubt. You know, the only other argument I can see that arises is having Dyson on the left and Jota on the right, which personally I do think went well against Dundee. However, I think you need to have Jota on his left, on the left-hand side, and bring a Bodo back into this team to counter a team like Bodo, who are going to play a very defensive setup. And so, on that note, we head into the final score prediction. And look, we're playing somewhere where it is going to be against Celtic. You know, this is probably the biggest home ground advantage we have played against this season, you know, in Europe. You know, Real Betis, we've played Real Betis, Ferencváros, Leverkusen, AZ Alkmaar, and Midtjylland, and someone else, can't remember who. It was Jablonec. I think this is going to be the biggest home ground advantage out of the lot, purely because we're going somewhere where it is much colder than Scotland. I think I was looking at the weather. It's at least 10 degrees colder in Norway than it is in Scotland right now. Not only that though, we are playing on the Norwegian replica of the Tony Macaroni Stadium. It is a shitbox synthetic field that is just awful. Everything is in Bodo's favour, and this is going to be, it's the game, like I said earlier, it's against all odds. This is a mountain we have to climb today. And look, the one positive for Celtic is that away goals don't matter, which means any win by 2 goals, with a 2-goal margin, we will go into extra time. Any win with 3 goals as the margin, or anything more than that, we will go into... What will we go into? We will go through to the next round of the Conference League. But if we do happen to win the match, draw the match, win the match by 1 goal, draw the match or lose the match, it will see us out of the Europa Conference League. And that's as simple as it gets, you know. Odds are against us. It's a monumental task, but I don't see Celtic overcoming it. And yes, it's a quite negative outlook. It isn't certainly the optimistic outlook that I should be having right now. However, it is certainly a very realistic outlook. Look, this is a very well-structured team, that took 80 minutes to crack down at Celtic Park. You know, we were a bit shocked by the quality of them. We were a bit shocked by their playing style. Yet, in saying that, however, I still do think they're so well organised, and they'll play so compact at the back. It's going to be absolutely, virtually impossible to break them down, especially on a field that absolutely suits them, you know. Even if we do get 1 goal back, they're going to park the bus, continue to park the bus. I don't see Bodo scoring tonight. I'll be real. I don't see them trying to win this match. I think their coach is telling them, you do not concede a goal. And if you do concede a goal, you don't concede a second, which is going to be their mentality. They're going to play a completely defensive setup in my eyes, and they're not going to give Celtic a look in. It's going to be tough. Will we be able to break them down? Hopefully so. You know, I see if we do get 1 goal, there is the momentum factor. We may be able to snatch a second, and the game will be completely up in the air at that point. However, look, it's going to be a very frustrating outing for Celtic, I think, for the majority of the match. I want to be optimistic, and I want to say we win this tie, but I just don't see it happening. It just doesn't seem realistic to me. What does seem realistic, though, is that we go out there and we work our asses off. We get and it ends up being, you know, 0-0, 1-0, or 0-0 or 1-0. I can see Celtic winning this match 1-0. Can I see us winning by more than that? No, not necessarily. Purely because I think this Bodo team is so well structured and so well organised that you saw it. We saw it at Celtic Park. We could only break them down through an impeccable cross from Juranovic. You know, we had a number of opportunities, but their defense just swarmed our attackers. Maybe the introduction of GG will change that. Maybe his physical presence will give us the breakthrough we need to be able to go on, score 2, score 3, win by 2, and win by 3. Because it's no good scoring 3 goals if they score 2 right back, because we'll still be knocked out in that situation. And look, miracles happen, and I'm going to hope out that I do want a miracle to happen, because albeit our primary focus should be the league, and I think that is what every Celtic fan's mentality is right now. It doesn't matter if we go out, because we need to focus on the league, because winning the league gets us the Champions League, obviously. But I would still like to see a deep run in the European knockout stages. I think that would be great to see from a Celtics perspective, because in recent years we just haven't done that. We just haven't been able to go on deep runs into the knockout stages of Europe. But you can't have everything in this world. So if I had to choose, I'd choose winning the league over a deep run in the Conference League. And I think that's the sensible option, all things considered. But that is all from me. So to sum it all up, final score prediction, I'm going 1-0 to Celtic. 1-0 to Celtic. It's going to be a very frustrating game, without a doubt. But, I'm sure we'll be able to take a lot of positives from it. Don't like the fact that it's a synthetic field, but we can't have everything. Beggars can't be choosers. But that is all from me. So, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave in the comments below your score prediction and whether you see Celtic going through to the next round. But until next time, hail, hail.